Disney has produced some incredible movies over the years. In fact, there are so many that they have created their own universe. Well, not exactly their own, but a shared universe where multiple movies take place. This includes animated movies like Frozen and Tangled. But even more interesting are the live-action remakes of older movies like Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, and The Jungle Book. It seems like Disney will remake every single movie they've ever made. However, some people argue that remaking an old movie doesn't mean that it's a better movie. But we all know that Disney needs to keep pumping out new movies in order to make money. So instead of making remakes, why don't we take some characters from other universes and smash them together? What if Snow White was actually a Marvel super? What if she and the Seven Dwarfs were mutants with special abilities? Or maybe she would team up with another Marvel hero who uses magic. Take a look at several awesome mashups and tell you which Marvel hero would be best suited to team up with Snow White. But before we get into it, what do you think? Which Marvel hero or villain would be best suited for Snow White? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any new videos. And with that said, let's take a look at our list. 7. Snow White and Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch has always been one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe. She can manipulate reality itself by using chaos magic. That means she can change things at a molecular level and cast powerful spells that influence people's minds. Wanda's power first manifested when she was young, possibly due to her exposure to the magical Darkhold book. After her brother Pietro became Quicksilver, she tried to duplicate these powers by using the same machine that Professor X used to develop his Cerebro helmet. Her powers then fully manifested after she was exposed to the Terrigen Mist. Although Wanda's powers are truly amazing, she can also be pretty dangerous. In fact, with just a snap of her fingers, she could destroy the whole world. Fortunately, she wouldn't need to do that, since she has the power to use telekinesis, so she would easily be able to defeat the evil queen. Plus, her powers can also be used for healing. So Scarlet Witch could cure any disease that might affect Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. 6. Snow White and Elsa. Ever since the release of Frozen, Elsa has become one of the most popular Disney princesses. As the first movie in the franchise ended with Elsa giving up her powers in order to save her sister Anna, the sequel sees her fully embracing her role as the Queen of Arendelle and discovering how to control her powers. With her ability to create snow and ice, Elsa would be a perfect fit for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Even though both queens have different personalities, their powers would allow them to form a strong alliance. They could freeze the evil queen solid and turn her castle into a massive snowman. Of course, they'd also be able to protect the forest and the animals that live in it from harm. Even though both characters are young, they are true leaders who are willing to help anyone in need. 5. Snow White and Storm. Ororo Munro, aka Storm, is one of the most powerful mutants that exist. Not only is she the Queen of Wakanda and a weather-controlling mutant, she's also been a prominent member of the X-Men for decades. The thing about Storm is that she is kind of like a mother figure to most of the X, especially when it comes to younger members like Kitty Pryde and Rachel Summers. So, teaming her up with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs would be a great choice. Since she's already a natural leader, taking care of children isn't something new to her. Plus, her powers would be useful for protecting everyone in the forest from the evil queen's wrath. Storm's powers allow her to control all forms of weather, including rain, snow, wind, lightning, temperature, and more. Even though Snow White doesn't have superpowers, her kindness would definitely complement Storm's strength. 4. Snow White and Ilyana. Rasputina, also known as Magique, is a very powerful sorceress and she first appeared in the comics in 1980, originally as a young girl who was manipulated by the demon lord Balan. Because of this event, Ilyana developed a deep hatred for him, which drove her to train hard and eventually defeat him. When Snow White teams up with Magic, the two of them would bring a unique dynamic to the classic story. Snow White's kindness would balance out Magique's harsh attitude, and because Snow White's animal friends would be able to talk, they could cheer Magique up. When it comes to fighting the evil queen, Magique's powers would be really useful. She can teleport herself and others, cast powerful spells, and she can also summon demonic limbo. If the evil queen gives Snow White a poisoned apple, magic would simply teleport the apple somewhere else, or she could even teleport the evil queen away from the kingdom. 3. Snow White and Jubilee. Jubilee is a mutant who can produce colorful energy out of her hands. These energy bursts come in different shapes and forms, including a concussive blast, fireworks, plasma, and more. Since her powers first manifested when she was still a child, she's now pretty proficient in controlling them. As a result, she would be a great addition to the group of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Although Jubilee is usually a cheerful person, she can get serious when the time calls for it. In fact, during the Mutant Messiah storyline, she proved to be a fierce warrior when she fought to protect baby mutants when teamed up with Snow White. Jubilation Lee would be the perfect protector for the group. Plus, she could easily scare away any villain who tries to attack. And if that doesn't work, she can always blow them up with her plasma blasts. 2. Snow White and Rogue. Rogue has always been one of the coolest X-Men members. She can absorb the powers and memories of others just by touching them. Although this makes her a powerful ally, it also makes her feel alienated from the rest of the world, which is probably why she connects so well with other mutants who feel out of place, like Mystique and Night. Now, while some may say that Snow White and Rogue have nothing in common, it's actually quite the opposite. Even though they come from different worlds, they both deal with similar issues. Like being trapped in a situation they didn't ask for and having to find a way to free themselves. In fact, Snow White may be able to help Rogue overcome some of her emotional scars, while Rogue could teach Snow White how to fight and defend herself. When it comes to facing the evil queen, Rogue's powers would be extremely useful. All she'd have to do is touch the evil queen and she would gain all of her powers, including her ability to cast spells and transform herself into different animals. 1. Snow White and ever since its creation in 1962, Spider-Man has quickly become one of the most popular superheroes of all time. Created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, Peter Parker is a teenager who gains spider-like abilities after being bitten by a radioactive spider. Although he started off as a relatively normal person, years of being a superhero took its toll on him, and he had to grow up pretty fast. Still, despite everything he went through, he never lost his sense of humor and kindness, which is something he shares with Snow White. Plus, Spider-Man is also known for breaking the fourth wall and winking at the camera, so it'd be cool to see him interact with Snow White's animal friends, especially the mirror. Just imagine him saying, "Hey, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" Then the mirror would reply, "You are, my pretty, but not as pretty as me." Then Spider-Man would wink at the audience. When it comes to fighting the evil queen, Spidey would have no problem defeating her. He's agile and quick and can use his webs to trap her. Now, before we wrap things up, here's a question for you. Would you like to see any of these mashups on the big screen? Which ones would you like to see? And why? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss any new videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.